anybody remember who do we celebrate in the month of November? So November is a special month. We have celebrations. Does anybody know? Yes. That's right. What day is that? November 11th is, but what is the name of that? Veterans Day. And then, before we hit recording, Warner, what did you share? Who are we?
American Heritage Month.
American Heritage Month. So yes, we are celebrating National Native American Heritage Month is celebrated in November to honor the history, culture, and achievements of Native Americans. So we are going to watch a video and discuss it. Are you all ready?
Yes.
My name's Linda Yamani, and I am Ramsian Ohlone from Monterey, Carmel Valley, Central California. Over the past 25 years, have become basket weaver and worked hard to bring back our basket traditions. When I was younger, in my 20s, I used to weave, but I thought none of our baskets are left in the world. But I still was making baskets, but with other materials. 25 years ago, I discovered that there are still a few of our baskets, but only maybe 25 or 30 in the world. And many of those are not in this country. You know, and then I had to write to museums and try to get information and start accumulating photographs. And just, I don't know, you just have to start someplace. And I'm kind of analytical, and I love to solve history puzzles, you know. And so I love to find information and then make it alive. So it's a big task, but I really love the challenge, and I love making things. So, and I love just the experience of bringing our cultural things alive. But I'm a little bit concerned, you know, where are the young people to learn? So here's a nice one. All right, I'll show you how we split it. Started out with a knife. So I split it in half. I'm just so lucky that, yes, I live in a place that still has many natural places. It's still hard to find places because in a park, normally you're not supposed to take plants, touch plants, cut plants. But in reality, humans and plants need to work together. I mean, we need the plants, but also the plants need us. And we can help them, and they can help us. We don't have to hurt each other. So right now, I'm taking my willow sticks and I'm having to scrape them down because, as we all know, stem always tapers from broad to very tiny. I just happen to use one of the holes of this abalone shell I have is just the right size, and so I use it as my size gauge. Then I just kind of give it a little light sanding, just because I like things to be nice and fun. So it's my little way of helping to kind of balance the sadness and the injustice of history and have them at least be appreciated today. That's my motivation.
Thank you for watching this video. So, can anybody tell me why you think, how is it related? Like, what's the lesson that I'm going to present today? Who can kind of take a peek on the round table and tell me, what's the lesson today? Yes. So most of the fourth graders, we're in different groups, we're going to be receiving a lesson on long division. How do you think it is tied to watching a video about basket weaving? And anybody can participate in this conversation. Yes, Modesta.
Because you have to know how much of the willow wood you need.
Absolutely. So there are so many things in real life that we're doing where we have to do the math and we have to figure out how much do we need, or if one basket, let's just say, for example, if one basket needs about 20 feet of willow sticks, we can come up with a math problem that if you have 450 feet of willow, how many baskets can you weave? So that can be a math problem. Again, we have to make sure that whatever we learn, we're going to figure out what is the application in the real world. In October, most of you, who celebrate Halloween, we went out. So let's just say if you have 248 candies, and then there's 2 people going out, how many would they each get? So does anybody know what operation we would be applying? Yes, division. So we are going to be learning about long division. I am going to ask Maddie to pause the video and we're going to watch another video, okay? A long division is delicious.
This PowerPoint was created by Mrs. Martelli to teach her students a strategy for solving long division problems. Let's review what we already know. When we divide, what do we call each number? The number on the outside that we're dividing by is known as the divisor. The number on the inside that we're dividing into is the dividend. Our answer is called the quotient, and the leftover is known as the remainder. Great job. But what do you do when your dividend has 3 digits, such as 859 divided by 4? That's simple. We just say, does McDonald's serve cheeseburgers?
Can you all
Look
say
at
that?
cheeseburgers and what
Does McDonald's serve
Well, that's simple.
cheeseburgers?
When we say, does McDonald's serve cheeseburgers, each letter represents one of the steps in the long division process. So it's to divide, multiply, subtract, check, and remainder. Let's give it a try. Step 1, does or divide. So we're going to divide 4 into the first place value, which is the hundreds. 4 goes into 8, 2 times. Does. Step 2, McDonald's, or multiply. And we're going to multiply 2 times 4, which equals 8. Step 3, does McDonald's serve or subtract? So we're going to subtract 8 minus 8, which is 0. Step 4, does McDonald's serve cheese or check? We were going to check that our answer when we subtract is smaller than our divisor. If it is, we can move on. And yes, it is. Step 5, burgers, bring down. We're going to bring down the next place in the place value, which is the 10th place. We'll bring down the 5, put it next to the 0. But what do you do now? We've already done all 5 steps. That's simple. We just start right back over again with, does McDonald's serve cheeseburgers?
Right here.
So let's keep on going. Step 1 again. Divide 4 into 5, which goes 1 time. Step 2, does McDonald's and for multiply, 1 times 4 equals 4. Step 3, serve or subtract, 5 minus 4 equals 1. Okay, let's keep going. Step 4, does McDonald's serve cheese? Remember, we're going to check, make sure when we subtract, our answer is smaller than our divisor. And burgers for bring down. So now we're going to bring down the 1's place, bring the 9 down, put it next to the 1 to make the number 19. And here we go again. Step 1, divide 4 into 19, goes 4 times. Step 2, multiply 4 times 4 is 16. Step 3, subtract 19 minus 16, we get 3. Next step, check. 3 is smaller than 4. And step 5 is bring down, but there's nothing left to bring down. So in this case, we're going to bring up. We bring the 3 up. That is our remainder. We use a capital R for remainder 3. And you did it. So let's remember our long division saying. Does McDonald's serve cheeseburgers? Divide, multiply, subtract, check, and bring down.
I'm going to pause it here. Okay. What's our mnemonic? How are we going to remember the steps of division? Does, yes, everybody say it out loud.
Does McDonald's serve cheeseburgers?
And what are the steps that we have to follow along?
Divide, multiply, subtract, check, bring down.
That I do have papers, so we're going to do it, but there is something that I need you to glue on later. Welcome to our long division lesson. Raise your hand if you have just had a little bit of exposure on working on long division this year. So when the year started, we were getting some problems like this. And that wasn't necessarily long division, but what were you guys telling me? That you have never done this before. So again, if it's written like this, it's the same thing. If it's written within a bracket, it is also called long division. So it's the same thing, it's just written 2 different ways, okay? So I am going to ask somebody to, let's see, who is going to tell me, read what the lesson is? Okay, Santini, take it away. Yes.
Find whole number quotients and remainders with 4-digit
Dividend.
dividends and the 1-digit divisor using strategy based on place value property for operations and for relationship.
Perfect. So I have to tell you that we are going to learn how to divide a 4-digit number with a 1-digit divisor. So let's look at the definitions, so all the vocab words that we're going to come across. So everybody's going to take turn reading one, and I'm going to show you on the board where exactly it is, or maybe on this board, show you where it is. Okay, so Apollo, can you take it away from the first one? Okay, so the division is the operation of splitting the numbers into equal parts or groups. So when we're dividing, we're getting equal shares. Kara? Dividend, yes. And divisor?
Divisor, the numbers by which the dividend is divided.
Perfect. Quotient? Can everybody say quotient?
Quotient.
Okay. Santino, read it, please.
The middle of the answer is a division problem.
And then I am going to read remainder, that amount left over. So not all numbers that we divide are going to be divisible by the number that we're dividing. So sometimes there's a little bit of quantity left over, and that is called the remainder. So let's just say if I a little easy. Okay, so if this is our problem, this can also be written like 66 divided by 6. Okay, and it's the same as writing it like this. Now this part inside, does anybody know, looking at the definitions, what is this called? the number that is being divided in a division problem. So this is dividend, so I am going to write dividend right here. Dividend, okay. The number we're dividing by is, what is it? Can everybody say it together? Okay. And the number that we're going to get on top, what is it that called? Quotient. Okay. So now there's different ways we're going to use the stamp game to learn how to divide, and we're going to learn how to do it without. Okay. So what was our mnemonic? Does anybody remember? That's right. Please take one and pass along the rest. Does McDonald's sell cheeseburgers? Did I miss anything or did I get it right? Okay. So the first thing is we're going to divide. So 4 goes into 8 how many times? 2 times 4 is 8. We did the division, we did the multiplication. What do we have to do? Subtract. 8 take away 8 is? We bring down. Okay. 4 goes into 4 how many times? 1 times 4 is 4. What do we do? What's the answer? What's the next step? Bring it down. So 4. 4 goes into 4. The divide. 1 times 4 is 4. Multiply. What do we have to do? Subtract. What's our answer? What does C stand for? Compare. So 4 take away 4 is 0. And then we, what is it? What does it start? Begin, bring down. So there's nothing else left to bring down. So our quotient is going to be, was there any remainder for this particular column? No. Now, let's try to do the same thing using the stamp game. That is the answer. That's right. Okay. So we are going to do, so our dividend up on top is 800. So are there thousands? No. So we need how many hundreds? 8. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. How many tens? 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. How many units? 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, in order, this is our dividend. What is our divisor? Who's going to read it off the board? And what material are we using? Stamp game. Okay. So now comes the fun part. We start giving one of each 100. So I'm going to ask, we're going to start with Apollo. Apollo, can you give 1 to each of the little Skittles? Thank you. Perfect. Now, Santino, are there enough left for everybody to get 1? Alright, take it away. How many tens do we have? Okay, I'm gonna make it a little tidy. Okay, Yvette, your turn. We always start from left to right. Since you're sitting on the opposite side, I understand why you started from that side. Okay, so let's start with, our problem was 844 was the dividend. The divisor was How many tens do you all see? How many units do you see? Is our answer the same as the quotient up on top? Isn't that cool? That we can use this or that, both methods to do division. Now I'm going to show you something really cool to check your answer. You know how we all like to use a calculator or come to a teacher to check the answer? If I want to check my answer, I am going to get the quotient and I am going to multiply 211 times 4. Or I can write it this way. Right. 4 times 1 is? 4 times 1 is? 4 times 2 is? Did we get our dividend? So this is the way we check our answer, and we have kind of proven that multiplication is the inverse of division and vice versa. Let's see. 16 divided by 2 equals. Who is going to tell me what's 16 divided by 2? Hard. 8. Oh. So now let's do 8 times 2. What is it? Somebody else. I need somebody from this side. 16. So we have proven that these two are opposites. Similar to addition and subtraction, right? Okay. So are we ready to do a practice session? Everyone should have a whiteboard. Where did I hide them? They're right here. Okay. Please get a marker. I'm going to get a better one. Okay. Here we go. Please take a marker. I'm going to write down the problem for you. And it's not going to be as easy as the one we practiced on the board. Okay, it's going to be a little challenging. Okay, our dividend is 6, 8. Okay. So I need somebody to help me read this number. So what is our So what is our dividend in this problem? Santini. That's a good guess, but that's 6,812 is our dividend. What's our divisor? Apollo. 2. And I'm going to give you 5 minutes to work on this all by yourself. Please refer to your mnemonic. Does McDonald's sell cheeseburgers? Patty, can you pause the video, please? So after we did this practice problem, are there any clarifying questions from anybody? Because I'm going to give you another problem that you're going to be working on all by yourself. So what is our, yes? Okay, you have a question about the mnemonic? Okay, does McDonald's serve cheeseburgers? Okay, what do you have a question? Okay, so compare the remainder with the divisor. So it basically whatever answer after subtraction that we get needs to be smaller than the divisor. Okay, so as long as it's smaller than the divisor, we're good. Okay, so I have assigned problems for everybody. So I am going to. This one's for Apollo. This one is for Santino. Please read the problem to me. This one is for Cara. This one is for Yvette. You are going to walk me through the process once you're done, because I have to record it for my teacher training. Okay? Yes. You're welcome to do it on the same board or copy it, but you have to walk me through the process of how you did it. it doesn't go into 4. So we have to stay. So I'm going to do a different problem, and I want Cara to look at this. I know we kind of jumped ahead. So 6, 42. Okay. So Cara, does 4 go into, is 6 divisible by 4? No. Okay, so what's 4 times 1? And what's 4 times 2? So 8 is bigger than 6, right? So we're going to do 4 times 1 is 4, and we follow the same steps. 6 take away 4 is 2. We bring down. 4 goes into 2400. So, 24. What do we do next? Subtract. 0, 0. We bring down that 2, and this is our quotient, and our remainder is 2. Yes. I'm going to ask you to explain to me. Sister, can you hold on to it? Yes. So so we're dividing first, and then 3 times 1 is 3. That's multiplication. Yeah. How did it go? What? 3 times 1. Okay. So what do we have to do once you have 12 written there? Okay, so look at this. And Santino, I want you to look at this, okay? 2 goes into 2 how many times? Once. So 2 times 1 is, what is it? 2. That's where I noticed that you made a little silly mistake. Okay, 2 times 1 is 2. What operation do we have to apply right now? Minus, subtract. 2 take away 2 is? What do we do next, Santino? So we subtracted, we got 0. We did bring it down. Thank you. 2 goes into 4 how many times? 2. You're right. 2 times 2 is 4. What do we do? What's the answer? 4 take away 4 is? Okay. So what is our quotient? 12. Did you all check your answers? Okay. And if it has a remainder, don't worry about checking it. You just do it and walk me through how you got it. Okay, 3 times 1 is 3, 2, 4, okay. 3 goes into 24 how many times? Okay. Okay, let's say the multiples of 3. Okay, Roman, can you help us? 3 times 1's 3, 3 times 2's 3 times 3's 3 times 4's 3 times 5's 3 times 6. 18. I forgot. 3 times 21. And then 3 times 8 is 24. That's right. I have these sitting right here. You're welcome to access them and check. Okay. How's it going? Okay. Let's erase your boards, everybody. Maddie, can you stop the recording for a second? Okay. New problem. What is our dividend? Yes. What is the divisor? Same thing. 3. Okay. Let's all do this together. So nobody's going to jump ahead. We're all going to do it together in order to stay together. What's the first step in the column? Three goes into 3 how many times? Once. Like this. 3 times 1 is 3. Multiply. Does McDonald's sell? What sell stands for? Serve, yes. Thank you. Okay, check that it's lower than 3, yes. What's the next step? Bring down. What number am I bringing down? Okay. 3 goes into 9 how many times? Multiply. 3 times 3 equals? What does serve stand for? Subtraction. What's the answer, Cynthia? Okay. Apollo, what's the next step? Bring down 6. Kara, help me with the last step. 3 goes into 6 how many times? 3 times 2 is 6. What do I do now? Yvette, subtract. 6 take away 6 is? Okay. So please multiply 132 times 3 on the back of your board to see if we get 396. Yes. Yes. You check your answer. Do the multiplication. Did you get that answer? Okay, perfect. Did we do it correctly?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's do. Erase the boards, please. Patty, can you pause the video? Okay. The pencils are right there behind you, Eva. So right now, everybody has 5 problems as their follow-up or as their exit ticket. You can do it all by yourself, yes. You're welcome to use Stamp Game if you wish to. Some of them may have, so how do you tell if the last number that you're left with, if that is not a multiple of the divisor? Okay. So, Cara, 2 goes into 12 how many times? Right there. 6. So 12. Subtract. Bring down 4. 2 goes into 4 how many times? Subtract. So then you look at the double digit number. Does 16 go into 4? And if yes, 14, 16. 4 goes into 16 how many times? Yeah. Perfect. Let's move on to the next one. So, which one is our quotient here? Yeah. Which one is the remainder? Yep. So, I tell my students that you write R, uppercase. lowercase r, and then you write the remainder next to it, so there's no confusion. Awesome. Oh, then, so 5 goes into 22, so 5 times 4. So write 4, right in the middle, like 4. Mhm. 20. Subtract. Show me. So 2 take away 2 is 0, 2 take away 0 is 2. You bring down 5. 5 goes into 25 how many times? Smarty, can you pause the video? Is everybody close to being done? I am going to hand you this paper. This needs to be glued in your math notebooks, and you're going to write down the steps, copy them. So before I excuse you, we're going to do a review of why is it that we need to divide? Where exactly do we apply this knowledge of division? Sorry, did I give you one? Okay. Okay. Alrighty. Who is so the big ideas we addressed in this lesson are, Apollo, can you read the highlighted part? Division is equal grouping. So when we divide, we get the share of how much does one person or one object is getting. So when we're dividing, we're making sure that we're getting the fair share of one. That's how Ms. Rita taught it to me. Okay. Santino, what is the second step? Or the second big idea, division? So this has a lot of big vocab words. Can anybody tell me what is inverse? What does inverse mean? So when I say division is the inverse of multiplication. Yes. So that's what we did earlier, right? We did so 18 divided by 2. What is our answer? What is our quotient? Divided by 2. Who is going to tell me our quotient? 2 times 6 is 12, so that's close, but we 2. Okay, so 9 is our quotient, and then when we have to check, we multiply 9 times 2 equals 18. Did we get the same number as this? So that tells us that this is the inverse. So connection between division and repeated subtraction. Did you see each time we brought down a number, there was one operation we did numerous times. What was it? Subtracting it. Thank you. Okay. And we're going to discuss some real world applications of division. So what was the video about? Bowls, baskets. She was a basket weaver, and do you remember the tribe that she belonged to? Ohlone tribe. And do you know that the Hayward Twin Oaks, or City of Hayward, is built on land that was owned by Ohlone people? Did you know that? So anytime we have the morning assembly, when we say thank you for the land acknowledgement, which 2 tribes' names come up? That's right. I am going to ask you guys to find where exactly did the Ohlone people reside on this map right here. It's a map of California. You're going to come find it out, talk to me about that. And we're going to do 5 more division problems by ourselves. How's it going? You're still stuck? Okay. I think I may have to give you some individual attention, so let's hold off on that. Okay. Apollo, can I have you for a second? Apollo, here's our problem that you're going to do before you go home. So, can you get the toaster from Carl, please? Come on over. So our problem is 264 divided by 2. Can you come over and you want to do it there? I am going to write down these 2 things right here, and you're going to plug in these. Two goes into 2 1 times. Can you write down the answer and use this marker to fill in and read the statement? I'm going to call you Catalina.
Do I come?
264. Yes. You think you got it wrong? Okay. Let me give Apollo a lesson and then we'll call him.
I never got those.
Thanks for calling. I'm going to call you next. 264 divided by 2 equals, what was your answer? Not everybody was going to do this. So can you read the statement? 264 divided by 2 equals? Off you go, sir. Thank you. We're going to do more problems tomorrow. Mark, can you pause the video? I'm going to give you a word problem, and we're going to figure it out together. So everybody erase your whiteboards. If we have $2,468, and we are getting 2 buses for the field trips at Hayward Twin Oaks, how much would 1 bus cost? So we are going on a field trip with Sequoia to Chabot Science Museum, and we are going to be looking at this number. And there's 2 buses that cost this much. How do we get the cost of 1? You have to do it on the whiteboard and walk me through it. Where's the whiteboard? You put it down? It's right here. Okay. You're not going to do the steps? But I'm still going to do it. You have to do the steps. That's how I would know that you know how to do the steps. So I need somebody. 2 goes into 8. How many times? 2 goes into 8. going to read out the quotient? Apollo. 1, 2, 3, 4. Can you read it as 1,000? Perfect. Please give him a thumbs up if you got the same answer as Apollo. Did everybody get that? How much is one bus going to cost? Okay. Erase. Everybody erase. Okay. Alright. So, in a week, let's just say, we collected, I don't know if it's really on the generous side. Okay, so we collected, in 10 days, we collected 612 eggs from our chicks. If each box is a half dozen boxes, does anybody know what's half a dozen? Okay. Apollo, what's half a dozen? Dozen is 12, thank you. So we divide, okay. So we are going to figure out how many eggs, how many half dozen boxes are we going to have when we find out the answer. So 612 divided by 6. You're welcome to use the materials. You are welcome to use, you have to do the steps, because when you do not show the steps, the teacher would not know if you are getting the concept or not. So if one does not go, then you're going to put a 0 on top. Yes. Yes. That was a great clarifying question. Should we do it together? What's the first step? 6 goes into how many times? What do I do next? What do I do? What do I do next? 6 goes into. What do I do next? What do I do next? 6 goes into 12 how many times? Next step? Yes. Differences? What is my quotient? How many boxes of half dozen eggs will I get? 100. Will there be any remainder that I could take home and just fry them for my next breakfast? Nope. Because the answer would be 0. I would love to have a remainder though. Sadly, there's no remainder. Thanks, Modesto. Okay. Any questions about this? No? Right. Choose one of those problems. So divide that number into all groups. Challenging one. Hello, there's a recording being done. If you are right next to the device and talking, it's going to get all the side conversations.
I didn't get
On the next number, what's the, that's our dividend. What's the divisor? So to divide, so just someone has 128 will go here. What's the answer once you go out? is our answer? Okay, but 214. That goes on goes to right here. And then if I were to ask you, how would you check this? You got the answer correct. How would you check that? You don't have to. I'm sorry. Then Tina, choose one of these problems, please.
Wait.
So that number divided by 2 equals what is our quotient? So write it down. So you are going to write 264 on one. Okay, that goes here. That's our dividend. Put it here. Yeah. Really good. Okay. And you put the answer here or the quotient here. Liam, I see some papers on the floor. Would you be kind enough to pick them up? Right here, look. These all go in So how would we write it? You write it the other way in the bracket? Dividend goes inside.
Why is it so quiet?
Does McDonald's serve but 2 goes into 6 how many times? We forgot to write that. Subtract. I would say when I'm learning something new, I say the steps out loud. So each time I'm doing it, it helps me remember them. So if you're bringing it down, I would say bring down. So remember, 2 goes into 4 how many times? We didn't write that on top. Okay. So what is our quotient on that? Write it on a post-it, put it here. And then you're going to read the sentence out loud, so we know that we have been practicing and we can say it the way it's written.
Which one do you think is better?
What was your, let's read from the beginning. So 200.
I'll fix it. Don't scribble.
And if I was asking you, how would we check our answer?
When I make this, it's like
How would we, no, just tell me. No, but then we divided it early, so how would we check it? We would, that's right, multiply 132 by